Today's video varies from the norm. Today we are going to have an intellectually stimulating discussion. In places like Africa, especially Nigeria, if you want to become wealthy, if you wanted to do something of meaning and value with your life, you would have to fight ancestral causes, fight the poverty rate. You have to go through all of this shit. You have to learn who Jesus is. You have to understand the redemption and Christ and break away from ancestral causes because they are real. This has nothing to do with whether you believe or not believe. The realities of it is your grandparents did shit and your whole bloodline has been subjected to the devil. I say devil because the devil manifests himself in different ways, especially across different regions. In the West, he manifests himself as degeneracy, while here in Africa, he manifests himself as himself. Let me give you an example. I always wondered why celebrities would kill themselves. People say it's depression. No, it's not. And I'm going to share with you an interesting perspective on that varies from the norm on why this anomaly happens. Even with all the fame, even with every single thing they have, they still take their own life. Why is it? Like I mentioned earlier, that the devil manifests himself as degeneracy over there and he manifests himself in his power over here. As a celebrity, especially people who don't understand the concept of selling your soul. People believe you have to go through this granular and spectacular process where everyone around you is putting on black and chanting God knows what before you believe you sold your soul. Or you have to sign this document that explicitly says, I am selling my soul to X. No, whenever you do something for selfish gain, especially for some kind of monetary reward, you have effectively sold your soul. When all these celebrities go and make or sign all these contracts, and when you sign the contract, they give you a bunch of money, you are required to make official statements on certain topics. You are required, even though they go against your beliefs, your core beliefs, and you would notice once you sign that contract, you have some kind of video. That's why celebrity videos are being released every single week because they have something on you. They have some kind of heinous documents or something you did in your past. They have it on you because as their insanity expands and their parameter for degeneracy is never ending, you realize that these people are not going to stop. And if at any point in time you decide to rebel, then those videos or those documents will come out, will get leaked. So back to our discussion earlier. So you sign this document, make official statement on several topics, and when you do that, you get a whole bunch of money in return. But as progressively as you begin to live this life, you know you are not living a life that's yours because you're living another man's script. You're being puppeted. You're purporting things that you shouldn't be purporting. You are saying things that you do not believe in. You are pushing your fans to the path of degeneracy, and you know that everything you do is wrong. Then you plunge into depression because you don't find happiness in the money, you don't find happiness in the fame, you don't find happiness in the relationship. The whole point of all these things people go after, the whole point of all these externalities is to bring you to a point of sobriety. And when you lose that in attempt to get those externalities, you quickly realize that the what you were chasing is sobriety, peace of mind, as opposed to that externalities. Those externalities just makes it easier and quicker to happen. So what happened is they would sign those contracts. All of a sudden, they plunge into depression. When they plunge into depression, the same system, the princes of this world who have bought over the doctors and people in biology would have already created a curriculum and trained doctors on how they should approach that kind of problem. So when you come to the doctor, you say, "Oh, depression, you can't fix it. It's not your fault. But take these pharmaceutical pills. It would help," which is a lie. Depression is not real, and that's a discussion we'll go into in a subsequent video. But the discussion of today is purely out of that scope. So when they go, they come back, they say, I'm never going to get healed. I'm always going to be depressed. These guys are always going to be purporting me. What do? They take their own life. Extrapolate to here in Nigeria. People actually go to the devil to do ritual. They do something, they exchange their years or they shorten the amount of years for monetary reward. All of a sudden, they exhaust, and when they exhaust that stipulated time, they die. So you see, the intention is the same, the outlets are just different, and the outcome is still the same. It's a zero sum game. You are going to die eventually. And you see, the world is intertwined. We People say we've evolutionized. People say we've grown into something, but the reality of things is the world is still the same, maybe a little bit different. In the days of old, in the age of slave masters, what will happen is you were owned by some kind of master, and he would give you shelter and food in exchange for your labor. A step further from that would be the days of feudalism. The feudal lords gave the vassal man land and protection in exchange for his labor, and he's required to pay some kind of homage of the produce to the feudal lord. A step further down would be what we have in today's day and age. You are given employment and protection in exchange for your labor and services, and you're required to pay some homage to the king in form of taxes. So you can see that it's all intertwined, it's all connected. It's just a semantic tricks. They are princes of this world. I believe that there are a few thousands of people who control this world and they become effective within the years. Of course, you think you are free. They sell you this illusion of freedom, but would you rather be rude with the consciousness that you are being rude, or with the illusion, or you are rude with the illusion of freedom? People say, I'm not free, but they gave you dollars to buy. It's still the same concept. They offer you they offer you shelter and food with protection in exchange for your labor. In today's day and age, they give you a dollar or some kind of currency to purchase the same things and give you that illusion of sovereignty. People say, oh, I decide if I want to pay land or if I want to buy food. But the reality of things is, if you take away those essentials, you would either end up homeless or dead. Even worse, you might end up both. So they have curated your reality and sold you this illusion of freedom, structured your reality in such a way that you reproduce the desired outcome by yourself. Sure, if you are frugal, you can squeeze a little bit of pennies here and there to afford some kind of luxury, but ultimately, the vast majority of people would always reproduce this kind of result. That's all it is. As always, Webchum family, it's a pleasure speaking to you guys. This was an intellectually stimulating discussion of how the world works. There are no five keys to get X, two keys to do that, and etc. This was just to broaden your mind and show you how the world works. I'll see you in the next one.